Laurie Houston's News for the Heart is dedicated to helping you give a voice to your own soul. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggles that keep us from awakening to our true essence. Join Laurie now as we delve into our heart and soul to find the path that will open us to the possibilities and lead us to the life we love to live.
And good afternoon. This is News for the Heart. Today is a special show. We are with author Daniel Bax, and we are going to talk, well, we're going to get to the heart of what matters, but we're going to talk to Daniel about a life-changing event that happened and how that has affected your life and where you're kind of going with that. So let's start with the actual beginning, which is what happened, and then we'll go from there.
What happened? Let me ask you a question before I continue.
Absolutely.
How graphic can I get into what happened?
You can get graphic.
Okay. Well, 2005 was a fantastic and transformational year for me. I had two flourishing companies, construction, renovation, home design, and finished carpentry business, and also a window washing, house washing company. And life was going great. Everything just seems to be was going so well. So I thought about getting another motorcycle. So I went down to the local motorcycle shop, which was a client of mine, and asked him if I can take a bike out for a test ride. I was, yeah, sure, Daniel. What bike would you like? He's like,
it was a test ride?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He goes, I said, that rocket right over there. He goes, all right. And here's where you know that ego kicked in, because as he rolled the bike by, you could hear the bike whisper to me, bring it.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, this is going to be one heck of a ride. So, as I got my helmet on, walked outside, straddled the bike, grabbed onto the bars, and all you could hear the bike say is, I dare you. And I was like, oh, you just didn't. Let's go. Now you got to focus on, you got to pay attention to what I was thinking about, and the construction of my thoughts, which led to the outcome of my day that day. What I'm focused on was, this is a nice bike. Don't want to wreck it. Don't want to scratch it. So I want to go away from cars, out to the country where I can stay away from traffic so no one can hit me, no one can hurt me. Don't want to get injured. I've got two companies. I got clients waiting for me. What was I thinking about? Was it possibility and bliss, or was it death and destruction? More in the death.
Possibility and bliss? No.
No, that was when I sat on the bike. The thoughts went all downhill after that. So here I am, firing out to the back road, attempting to stay away from the traffic, attempting to stay away from the cars and everything. I'm zipping down these back roads, and I cycled down these back roads on my bicycles all the time. Rarely do you see more than 2, sometimes 3 cars driven by you, but there's a great space between them. This time there was 6 cars in a row, and well, ego kicked in and said, just go for it. So I lit the bike up and I started firing past all these cars, way too fast. When I was told it was at 140 kilometers an hour, and the front van decided to make a left-hand turn.
Yeah. Oh, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, like hitting a parked car, I went through the back window, and as I went through, my shoulder crushed the corner support beam of the van by about 14 inches, and I got ripped through the window, and as the momentum dragged me out, the glass partially severed my head all the way down to my esophagus. The carotid artery, vagus nerve, crushed my brachial plexus in my shoulder. Then that launched me 30 feet up in the air over top of the street light, equally as far down the road where I came down and landed face first. Split my helmet in half, fractured my neck, my back, and started to just bleed out intensely on the side of the road since I was totally, almost decapitated. And very fortunate, this is where I know that Spirit knows what's going on and where we're connected, because and that it sets life up so it can be there to support you and carry you through your ego moments or carelessness or recklessness, whatever it is that you're doing. So that day, it placed an ambulance on return 4 to 5 minutes away from where I was. There was a cop down the road doing a roadblock or a speed trap. Good thing I didn't catch that guy.
Well, maybe. No.
No.
Yeah.
And then it placed an ambulance helicopter en route, heading back, just dropping someone off, all in the right space because it knew that riding the bike that day with ego, I would need to have these guys there because I'm gonna destroy myself. So ambulance and everything was there all within about 5-7 minutes. Drove me in to get airlifted, rushed straight into the Hamilton General Hospital where I was flown in there, rushed straight into surgery, into the ICU. So, but on that, because my neck was partially severed, they couldn't give me any oxygen. They said I lost 3 out of 5 quarts of blood. You know, if you lose a quart and a half, your veins collapse. And I was without oxygen for about 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It might explain why I'm a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely, maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, off that onto this. So
Yes.
I got rushed straight in for surgery. They gave me 10 hours of surgery and 12 surgeries in 10 hours.
Really?
And then I was induced into a coma because if I moved, they couldn't put any kind of neck support or head support on me because my neck was all severed up. So I was induced into a coma. 10 days later, they told my family, they go, when Daniel wakes up, he'll never walk again. Then there are 3 severe strokes and 4 massive heart attacks.
You did?
Because of the head injury, the head trauma. We'll never talk again because I've only got one vocal cord now. I paralyzed my left vocal cord. Likely won't remember anything before the accident because he wiped his brain clean and will not be able to feed himself. All this, likely won't be able to do it unless he's assisted.
Right.
And from that point, I was like, I don't like those opinions of what I can do or who I am. Mind you, I was still in a coma. But when I woke up, it was all just sheer determination of what I can do. And going back to spirituality, because I woke up and I was blind, deaf, muted, and fully paralyzed on my left side. I couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't do any of that. My left side was completely numb where I couldn't even feel it. But I knew I knew when my family came into the hospital because I saw their energies get off the elevator.
Wow.
It wasn't your simple or regular energy. All energies is kind of like, you know, those what are those things called though? Those areas where they take a photo of you and they see the energy in your body, how it's warm. Well, the average person that was walking by was more of a grayscale energy, just walking by. They're still human, still alive, but it was just more of a grayscale. And when the energy came off the elevator, I knew when my mother was there, when my brother was there. I did not know who they were, but I knew that their energy was for me because I saw the heat, the love, the redness, the vibrant colors, and I knew that they were there for me because they connected with me spiritually. At the same time, again, I was blind, and the elevator was at least 50 feet down the hallway from my room.
Wow.
But I knew where they were, and I knew when they come off, so I knew that my family were there, or people were that energies were there to be with me. Didn't know it was family, but I just knew energies were there. So I got to experience that. Now I can only understand and get a slight glimpse of what Helen Keller went through.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful. And then so I was connecting more spiritually and energetically with people, which still continues to this day. But that's how I connected with my family. And actually, when I woke up, I was literally, my memory, everything was gone. I didn't know how to, I was literally reborn in the fall of 2005. I didn't know how to scratch an itch, speak my name, didn't even know my own personal name, or even speak the English language, or go to the bathroom. I was literally reborn, had to be retrained everything. So it was one heck of an adventure. I spent 4 years in the hospitals and in rehab, having 1 surgery a month for the following 3 years.
Wow.
Total 35 surgeries now.
It's crazy.
That's pretty intense. It's been one heck of a journey.
Yeah, one heck of a journey. Now, prior to that, what was your view on life? I mean, you were kind of into extreme sports, but were you? I mean, you already were following Tony
Robbins,
yes, right, and like other spiritual leaders. Were you kind of in? I mean, you were already kind of in that.
More so, it was that spirit knew that if I continued on the conscious track that I was on, it needed to get me connected before as often and as powerful as it could in all the different dimensions and ways possible, because if I didn't, and when I came back around from this, I was released out of the coma, there's no way that I would have made it, even past the first 5 or 10 surgeries.
Right.
And be able to be mentally strong enough to actually sustain this and actually come out more powerful and dynamic than just being a quote-unquote victim. Step into the victor world and into the thriver's world versus a survivor.
Right. Which is kind of hard to do when you're in the space that you're in. I mean, you kind of lost a lot at that time.
I did. I lost pretty much everything. Everything was new to me. Certain characteristics were similar, my family and friends say, and some were just more amplified. But pretty much what I asked of the Creator, I just said, just keep the memories and give me the memories that served me. What I learned from them, what I gained from them, and what was the best about them. The rest of the stuff, I don't need to know. I don't want to remember. It had nothing, had no value to me. So I just asked any memories that can serve me and what I can learn from it, even if I saw how I didn't do something right, but there's a lesson there.
Right.
Let me regain those memories.
Right. And then you also said that your family played Anthony Robbins tapes.
Absolutely.
While you're in a coma as well.
Tapes, you dating me?
Right, CDs.
Yeah, I had a bunch, and my sister-in-law's mother, her and I both did the Anthony Robbins curriculum together. I just happened to be at different events that she was at, so they made sure that they were played beside my bed when I was in a coma, and even when I woke up, they were always played consistently, and so that it ultimately that was one of the main things that really reprogram my mind into being just a powerful state of being that nothing really set me back. Nothing stopped me because I knew that I must make a difference in my life in this world.
And I would think that an event like that, I mean, you've kind of lost your fear about dying, probably, in that you did it a few times.
Well, there is the fear of getting injured, but the fear of dying, no. Why? Death is the possibility of a rebirth, whether it be back in the same body. Yeah, whether it be back in the same body or whether it be back here as a different vessel, same energy. It's the opportunity to do whatever you want to do before. See, when they asked me, I was like, well, Mr. Bax, what would you like to be now? I was like, now I want to become everything I've always wanted to become and do what I've always wanted to do. I know how not to, and I know why I didn't. Now it's time to do it.
But nobody else believed that could happen.
No. Again, like they figured I was going to be in long-term care facility. They already had booked me for long-term care facility at St. John's Rehab. Right. Because they didn't expect me to ever even be able to leave the bed.
Right.
It's like, and then that's when I connected more spiritually. A spirit came to me and said, Daniel, connect with the earth and you shall be healed. Consume the earth and you will be consumed. Now, it took a little bit to ponder that around to figure, what is that supposed to mean? But I figured it out. Couldn't speak, couldn't do nothing. I just pointed to my mom to get my foot off the wheelchair. And she'd come by and visit me, take me outside. I just got her to take my foot and put it on the ground.
Right.
And I started feeling the energy resonate through my body. And focusing on making my left foot move and mimicking my right foot. And so along with my fingers and my eyes, brows, and everything else. So whenever I did something on my left side, or I wanted to do something on my left side, even though I was paralyzed, I mimicked it on my right side. And I intuitively felt the energy going through my body. Oh. And reconnected neural tracks when they were totally kiboshed. I focused on my being from the inside out.
So that's how you kind of changed your neural pathways, by doing it from the one side and
connecting it with the left side.
Wow.
At the same time, then just feeling the energy and accepting it and being grateful that if a fly was in the room, that it was there just to be just wanted to be acknowledged, and it was actually giving me energy. And so I would just thank that fly, or even thank a dog that walked by, touch a plant, feel the energy coming off that. And if I ever feel pain, it's like if you ever feel pain, just step outside and step on the grass. And be grateful that you're connected with the earth. Take your shoes off. Just if you're walking down the road and you got your shoes on, just walk on the bit of grass between the sidewalk and the road, or the last little, say, foot of someone's front yard, and that pain will start to dissipate by the time you get to the end of the block.
I guess that's that, well, one, you wouldn't have wanted to do that 3 months ago, but um, yeah, I mean that is how we ground with Gaia, and that is how we get connected to the earth, and that is how we ground ourselves, which most people don't spend enough time doing.
And if you're doing that 3 months ago, you step off, and being 3 months ago is because we get our fun, wonderful winters up here in Toronto, Ontario. But step off and just connect with the snow, or when you see a branch of a tree that's lost all its leaves, just touch that tree still alive.
Right.
It's got energy and life in it. It just doesn't have its blossoms there. Touch the tree, touch the hedges, even though there's no leaves on. Touch the hedges and be thankful. Not just thankful, but be grateful that it's serving you, because it's here to recycle the energy.
All right, we're going to go to our first break. You have been listening to News for the Heart. I have Daniel Bax with me, and we've been talking about his incredible journey into the area of brain trauma and just what happened to him to get him to where he is. You can find out more about Daniel if you go to his website, danielbaxspeaks.com, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Laurie Houston, and I have a great show on bmajor.org called News for the Heart. I'm an intuitive counselor, coach, and teacher with professional qualifications and certifications, as well as natural clairsentient and claircognizant abilities. I've been on my spiritual path for over 20 years, and during that time have acquired through extensive studies, teachings, and sacred texts over 30 different healing modalities, which are continuously being added to as life is an ongoing journey. My passion is on relationships, limiting beliefs, energy that is blocking you, and awakening consciousness as we become more heart-centered. You can find out more about me at my website, intuitivesoul.com, or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685, and I'd be honored to connect with you. Let's get to the heart of what matters. Do you want to become more empowered, connected with your core, guided by your heart and soul's purpose, be more balanced and have more mindfulness? Are you searching for the answers, wanting to understand your relationships better, why your intimate relationships, friends, family, and even work colleagues can impact your quality of life? How your relationships interfere with your business, career opportunities, and even starting your own business? I'm Laurie Houston. I have a free weekly advice column with bmajor.org called Heart Lessons. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggle that keep us from awakening to our true essence. You can send me your questions, or for more personal guidance, contact me at intuitivesoul.com or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And let's get to the heart of what matters to see your heart lessons.
Want to know where you can hear Laurie Houston's News for the Heart? Well, that's easy. You can tune in to Laurie via Clear Channel's iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and at bmajor.org. Now, back to Laurie Houston and News from the Heart.
And welcome back. This is News for the Heart, and I have author Daniel Bax with me. Daniel's book is called The Life of Your Choice, Moving from Oh No to Oh Wow.
Yes.
And we'll actually have another interview where we will discuss your book. But I did want to give that to people that are listening so that they know what to go to. And you have 2 other websites. We will definitely get back to that after our next break. But you have potential.to, as in
Potential
Toronto,
to.
or 2, and actnow.to. T-O.
Yes, act now too.
Right.
Potential too.
Cool. But let's talk about, okay, so you had this incredible journey that led you down a specific path.
Mm-hmm.
You were more in construction and renovation, and now tell us what happened after you, I mean, it took a few years for you to get out, but I mean, I assume that those first 4 years were pretty much spent on your recovery.
It was pretty much all recovery and surgery. So I would do anywhere between 8 to 10 hours of rehabilitation a day.
Wow. And
then what I would do just to empower myself to even a higher state of being, And to improve myself even greater, when I had rehabilitation, if I had a follow-up for a surgery I had in, say, St. Catharines, I'd bicycle ride down there. If I had a follow-up surgery when I was living in Hamilton and Toronto, I'd bike to here for follow-up, and I'd bike back home.
Wow.
And so it was just because I wanted to improve myself and find ways that I can just expand beyond.
Oh yeah, we should talk about the fact that you know, after the doctor said you couldn't do anything, what you actually can do now. Obviously, you can talk. And apparently you can bicycle or cycle. So
well, actually, cycling became the first thing to do. It was far easier than walking because my left leg was dragging behind me a lot of the way. That was like any stroke victim. So I had a serious challenge in making my left side move. So cycling was so much easier than walking. And it got me there a heck of a lot faster.
Than walking, yes. Although people might use cars and things to do
Yeah.
especially to go to surgery. I don't know.
I figure if I want to better myself, I got to put myself in a state and a place where I'm actually inducing my body to heal versus just quote-unquote surviving.
And most people would just give up.
Yeah.
At least not take it to the extent you did.
The majority of people will do just whatever they're asked of by their doctor, surgeons, or therapists.
Right.
And not a stitch more. And even then, most times it's 10% less. Because they think if they're doing that much, they're meeting the standards. I don't want to be average. I want to step into the exceptional world, and to do that, you got to step above and beyond the quote-unquote just make it average way of being.
Absolutely. And so cycling was first, but then you were able to walk and even run. Even
do some running now, and now I'm training every morning. I go down to the beach and I train on. We got some parallel bars down there and some lateral bars, and I go down there and do a full exercise. I've actually connected with another gentleman now, and we're looking at creating a little posse of us doing exercise together every morning. Nice. Pull-ups, push-ups, squats, any kind of exercise we can do on the bars and with a few other devices that I bring down with me. Half hour, 40 minutes of just pure exercise every morning, just to keep ourselves in top physical shape.
That's cool.
Absolutely. It's a great way to start the day. First thing in the morning, and you come back, you're fired up. There's no grogginess. I need a pot of coffee to understand what I'm doing today. Where am I? Now you come back, you're fired up.
It's incredible. Really.
Thank you. I figure that's where you got to begin every day, and I began that when I was in rehab. I wake up in the morning, I go out and do exercise or even meditate before I began my physical day in rehabilitation, before I was able to bike. It's like, this is my life. Oh, I need to create it. I need to create the life of my choice.
So what life did you create?
The one of power and possibility and exceptional opportunities and endless potential.
Endless potential. And you went from construction and renovations to?
Well, now I'm an inspirational speaker, a breakthrough recovery coach, and as we mentioned, we shared already, an author of the book, The Life of Your Choice, which actually, that book was my journal, because Spirit told me to write my journal as if I'm writing a book, because what I've learned through my rehabilitation, through how I connect, how I communicate with others, will become a guidebook, a manual for others to step up into their world. Doesn't matter where they are, whether they're going through something traumatic or even just want to advance in their own way of being in life. It's my personal gift to you out there in the world, that it's what I went through, and I took my life on as an example, as a study to see how I could do things beyond just the average or the, we would say, what was expected, and how I could win by it and have everybody else in the process win through what I'm doing. And so I kept full-on journal of that, and I created a book out of it.
Nice.
So in the book there is the explanation of a chapter. Let's use a chapter like Just Give. Explanation of the chapter, just give unconditionally with love because you wish to empower others. Don't expect anything in return, just give. Then Mother Teresa, the greatest giver of all, is the example. So explanation, example. My personal experience, how I gave something like a simple smile out of half my face that could work because the other half was paralyzed. And my right hand would be waving. I'm laying in bed in the hospital, and because the nurses saw me waving and smiling, I got service with whatever I needed, whenever I needed it or requested it, because I was always there with love and joy. And then I give you 3 simple exercises where you can take this and work it into your way of being of life. And then there's 3 simple themes to the book, or 4 themes to the book.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in another
Yes,
interview.
yes.
Yes. All right. So you've recreated your life in a completely different way. And after this break, we'll talk about what you're kind of doing right now. But what was that like? I mean, for most people, we have all of this drama that we kind of hold on to with our memories and our experiences. And you kind of got to wipe that slate free and start over.
What was that like? Great question. Well, the bummer part was that I didn't remember much of anything, and I had a hard time remembering what I just spoke about a moment ago because my memory was that short. Like I would turn, you say, "Hi, I'm Laurie." I'd say, "Oh, great to meet you, Laurie." I turn around, I turn back, go, "Hi, who are you? I'm Daniel."
Wow.
Like it was, and that was in second year of rehabilitation. That's how short my memory was even then.
Wow.
So it's been a journey. It's been a constant, as Spirit said to me, study this, study your life, study the environment you're in, because you're here to teach this. You will be a leader throughout the medical rehabilitation community. This is your life. Study it. And so it's been a constant study just of who I am, what I'm up to, and what I can do, and how I can present this and bring this out. Ooh, vacuum microphone, runaway microphones. How I can bring this out to other people and share it so we can all learn and grow by it.
Right.
So yeah, every day is something to step back and reflect on.
I mean, I can't imagine. I go through my own life and think of, when I got frozen shoulders and different things in my life, and I mean, I can't imagine going through what you went through and being able to come out the other side with a much more positive and inspiring story.
Well, what I learned from that was, well, actually, what I would say is that's a great point to make, because when my family played Anthony Robbins on CDs over and over and over again, I continued listening to him all through my rehab, even the years I was out of the hospital, every day. Even now, I still listen to some Robbins, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Mark Victor Hansen, any kind, Marianne Williams, any kind of spiritual leader or just personal developing leader. I listen to that every single day. But the biggest thing Anthony Robbins said is that if I can learn from it, spiritually, mentally, or physically, in some way, I've won. It's not a problem. It's not a loss or a failure. It's that I've won if I chose to learn from it. Mm-hmm. He used mentally, physically, spiritually. I'm saying spiritually, mentally, and physically, because when we see something spiritual, we then see it mentally, then we can connect it through physical way, and that becomes our way of being. So as long as I chose to learn from it, it doesn't matter how challenging or how rough the situation or scenario was, when I chose to find a way that I can learn from it, it became a win. And from that, then I started to see more wins and more wins and more wins and more possibilities, even from that simple incident, even weeks or months later.
Right. And your memory, I mean, you still have some minor short-term stuff, but so you remember most of your long-term memory?
Pardon me, what'd you say? Why am I laughing?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Why am I blushing? Keep going.
Some of it is there, some of it's not. Depending on how impactful or how passionate I am about what I'm doing at the time, then I'll remember more. It's still a bit of a challenge. There's definitely days that people look at me and go, "What? Why are you asking me again?"
Yeah, right.
And I know that you and I have done that once or twice.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I won't tell you when I'm faking it when I'm being serious.
Right.
Keep you on your toes.
Great.
No, but it is still a bit of a challenge, and I know that's something I'm gradually getting over. The more nutrients I take on, the more meditation, just the more I connect with the earth and then with spirit, the greater I heal. And when I don't do that as often, I find my healing slows down.
But doctors told you that you could never heal certain areas of your brain and regrow, and you were able to do things that are very much medically impossible.
Well, a lot of this is I feel that a lot of the quote unquote never
Yeah.
is because that's what they've been handed down over the generations through their leaders, and when that's handed down, they tell everybody that, and the average person only does what the quote unquote professional tells them they can do. They never go beyond that.
True.
So if I tell you you never walk in, or say you had some knee damage, that's going to hurt you. Right? Down the road in a few years, you're going to have with arthritis and that's going to be some swelling, and you're going to have this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Likely chance is probably 9 out of 10 times that cat's going to have a swollen, sore knee, and it's going to be, see, it's arthritis. I knew it was going to happen. That's because he declared it, when he declared it after the doctor mentioned it, he proclaimed it by accepting those thoughts. I never accepted any pain. I never accepted, I accept pain in the way that it's there to teach me a lesson. If I know I'm pushing myself too far, if I push my finger a little bit further, it's going to break. But if I stub my toe and there's pain and throbbing there, it just becomes a memory. It's not an ache, it's a memory. I should pay attention. I should watch the way I'm walking. I should watch how I'm moving.
Right.
Pay attention to what I'm doing. So it becomes an awareness factor instead of a pain. And then your body accepts it and feels it entirely different than just a whomping, throbbing toe. So when doctors telling me I couldn't do something, there's always, and in my book, 28 chapters later, there's 28 different examples of people that have done something that doctors said they never could.
Okay.
Because they chose to. We just happen to be that small percentage that do something where the masses don't, and therefore that becomes the way of being. You can't or you never will. Well, those words don't exist in my vocabulary other than when I'm explaining them. It's like impossible. Take the word impossible. Say the first 2 letters, then say the word possible. What do you have?
Impossible.
I am possible.
Oh, perfect.
So really, the word impossible is nullified just by that statement.
Interesting.
Now create a new way of being.
Yeah. It makes me think it's so simple, and but so many people get caught up in thinking that you have to have a medical professional tell you how to live your life or how to heal yourself. Or, I mean, we all know that there are thousands of years of alternative medicine that has been around much longer than the traditional
scientific.
Yes.
But then again, if you look at science, science has to be something that has to be proven before it's called real or legitimate. And there's many, many, many ways, which is a whole other conversation, which I don't want to entertain, for ways that it's purposely canceled so that you can't get proof of that. So ultimately, it has to continue with the research.
Right.
But then again, you look at spirituality and life and energy. It doesn't need to be proof. It's a knowing. We are spiritual. We are energetic beings. And if our body and our cells and our tissues are all energy, what stops us from regrowing it? Lizards can do that. And they're made in our image. We're made in the like image of our own creator. Now, answer this. If it says in the Human Owner's Manual, the Bible, I created you in my like image. And when connected with me, God, Allah, Krishna, the universe, all things are possible. So if we're created in the universal source's image, and when we connect with the universe, all things are possible. What does that leave out?
Fear? All the things that stop us from doing what we need to do?
It leaves out nothing. We are totally possible. I am possible. Because if we're created in the universal source's image, then we're a dynamic being to begin with, and when we connect with him, everything is possible. It means we can do absolutely anything we choose and aspire to do and become. Napoleon Hill said it the best. He goes, whatever the mind of man can conceive, bring itself to believe, you will achieve.
So where's Daniel going?
Daniel is in the process of creating with my business partner. We just created a new campaign called ACT, Awaken Canada together.
Love it.
And we're awakening Canada to the dynamics and that head injury is the largest injury known to man around the world. If you take breast cancer, AIDS, multiple sclerosis, and Alzheimer's, combine them together, head injury still trumps it by 60%. It is the largest death of children under the age of 20 or people under the age of 20 than all other injuries combined. So we're here to awaken Canada to how you can prevent and empower yourself, prevent yourself from head injury and empower yourself after head injury to take on life again more powerfully than ever before. So this is a campaign that we will be taking across Canada. We're opening up first is on June 14th at St. Michael's Hospital. It'll be our first campaign, then we're going to roll that around Ontario, then across Canada.
And it's really just about awareness.
But yeah.
And how we can achieve our own potential if we believe, or if we desire, or if we...
Awareness to your endless potential.
Right.
What you can do when you truly believe and have faith in whom you are. The powers that have been bestowed upon you at birth is like, you're endless. So you have endless potential, Laurie. Tap into it.
I try. No, I don't try.
No.
I do as much as I can.
Well, stop trying and begin doing.
Yeah. Being. I'm more the being type.
Then be it.
Doing kind of gets us caught up in...
Then be your endless potential. Live it. Express it fully.
Yeah. It's just, we get caught up. We get caught up in life.
The caught up in life should be the expression of yourself fully. That should be where you get caught up. I got caught up in just being overexpressed today. Too expressive and so vibrant. I think I need to sleep. Oh wait, no, my body, my toes are wiggling too much. I can't sleep. But let's go for a jog to wind down.
Right.
Express yourself fully. Get caught up in the fact that life is so vibrant and so full of fun and exhilaration that taking time for yourself is the best time you can take. Being quiet. Not being quiet because you're afraid or hidden, but being quiet because you're trying to regrow and connect.
Yes, that I do.
Then when you come back out, you're a fireball, girl. Let it go.
Right. Yeah, it's that part that there's sometimes challenges too.
Again, what's a challenge?
I guess, we get caught up in other people's expectations or opinions.
Well, here's what I realized an opinion was from a doctor, from a friend, family member, whoever it may be. Opinions are their beliefs of what they can accomplish placed upon you. So they don't think you can ever walk again or talk again, move your left side, or create a webinar radio show or fly to the moon. They're going to tell you that's impossible. Mm-hmm. And so it's really the beliefs of what they can accomplish placed upon you. And if you look at, you take that in perspective, as I did, as it was just that. It just provided me with perspective of how much more I determined and powerful I needed to be to break the opinions, because that opinion wasn't just theirs, it happened to be the surrounding energies. And so I had to show them that those are your thoughts. You can keep them, but then again, stay limited. Right. I'm here to move forward.
All right, we're going to go to our next break. You're listening to News for the Heart. We're getting to the heart of what matters. We've been talking with Daniel Bax. You can find out more about Daniel if you go to his websites, potential.to or potential.2 or potential2, and actnow.to or actnow2.
Yes.
And we'll be right back.
Looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Laurie Houston, and I have a great show on bmajor.org called News for the Heart. I'm an intuitive counselor, coach, and teacher with professional qualifications and certifications, as well as natural clairsentient and claircognizant abilities. I've been on my spiritual path for over 20 years, and during that time have acquired through extensive studies, teachings, and sacred texts over 30 different healing modalities, which are continuously being added to as life is an ongoing journey. My passion is on relationships, limiting beliefs, energy that is blocking you, and awakening consciousness as we become more heart-centered. You can find out more about me at my website, intuitivesoul.com, or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685, and I'd be honored to connect with you. Let's get to the heart of what matters. Do you want to become more empowered, connected with your core, guided by your heart and soul's purpose, be more balanced and have more mindfulness? Are you searching for the answers, wanting to understand your relationships better, why your intimate relationships, friends, family, and even work colleagues can impact your quality of life? How your relationships interfere with your business, career opportunities, and even starting your own business? I'm Laurie Houston. I have a free weekly advice column with bmajor.org called Heart Lessons. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggle that keep us from awakening to our true essence. You can send me your questions, or for more personal guidance, contact me at intuitivesoul.com or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And let's get to the heart of what matters to see your heart lessons.
Want to know where you can hear Laurie Houston's News for the Heart? Well, that's easy. You can tune in to Laurie via Clear Channel's iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and at bmajor.org. Now, back to Laurie Houston and News from the Heart.
And welcome back. This is News for the Heart. I have Daniel Bax with me. We have been talking about, well, your extraordinary life, really, and where it's kind of taken you. Obviously, there's lots of people that have had similar type experiences than you, but have never taken it to the extraordinary that you have. And I think you're an inspiration to everybody. You're certainly an inspiration to me. I think you're an inspiration to everybody. And I know that a lot of people are going to learn your name soon. Specifically in Canada, but because the show is in the US, I think a lot of people are going to become quite well known. I mean, they have labeled you as the Terry Fox for brain trauma, which I think is great, because I think that's exactly what, that inspiration and that kind of passion. So tell me about Act Now.
Act Now, as I briefly touched on it before,
Yeah.
it stands for Awaken Canada Together. And we're here to awaken Canada to just really the size of head injury, how powerful, how big of an injury it is, at the same time, awaken them to their endless potential. Letting everyone know that no matter how intense or how traumatic your injury is, whether it be brain injury or maybe you lost your arms, and either way it's still a mental, physical challenge to yourself, because now you're not feeling as adequate. It all works out to be a form of head injury. Strokes, concussions, whatever it is, directly to the brain. We're here to show people how they can, different ways and different natural healing elements like the energy medicines and modalities that they can use to regrow different parts of their body and brains, at the same time being a greater healing entity than say the pharmaceutical ways. Now you can actually heal yourself natural and as clean and as organic as possible. So really we're just here to show people that you can do whatever it is that you conceive you want to do. When you first believe in who you are and have faith in your creator, universal source, whatever it may be, that you can, will, and must step up and become so much more than you are now, because you have a greater purpose in this world. And just let people know, it's like, we have endless potential. And at the June 14th event at St. Michael's Hospital, we're going to have all kinds of great leaders and people from the neuro world, people from the energy world, modalities, all coming together to show how we can, or just support each other and how we can better ourselves and become more powerful in life, Same time, at June 14th event, I'm going to be announcing my training for the ride across Canada. I'll be cycling my bicycle across Canada, every capital city, and then we're going to take this event here that's in Toronto and land it in every capital city of each province across Canada. And with the energy modalities that are known for that region. Won't take our people, we'll take this event and transplant it there and mirror it in each province across Canada. Just letting people know, step up.
Maybe I can come with you and do radio shows in each area.
We have a blog at the end of every day. But yeah, so that's the goal of this, and that's ACT now. It's announcing my cycle across Canada, and that'll be kicking off in about this time next year. So I got a lot of training to do.
Wow. You're planning on doing a lot of training this year, though, to get
Oh,
prepared.
yes. It's every day, and even with the physical stuff I mentioned before, down at the beach is just there to strengthen and train my body, just to have the resilience and the endurance to take this on.
It's very impressive. Very impressive.
Well, we're also talking to the biggest industry in the world, and the largest community in the world, the head injury community.
Which I don't think a lot of people are aware of, that that's such a huge percentage of the population.
Just in Canada alone, and the Americans trump this,
Right.
which is not something to be
Proud of.
But every 10 minutes we have someone registered with a brain injury.
Wow.
And those are only the ones that go to the hospital. I know that I had at least a minimum of 10 concussions prior to these. And I never been to the hospital for head injury.
Right.
Every 10 minutes someone is registered in Canada alone for head injury. My vision and goal is in the next few years, take that down to every 20 minutes.
And how can we do that? Like, what do we need to be aware of to prevent or...
Who we are, how we are, what our bodies can do, how much it can take, just awareness, education, and research as to educating people to what the brain can do and how it can heal and how we can rejuvenate, ultimately, how precious it is. Because something as simple as forgetting a little bit, or starting to be a little more cursive, or dexterity is not always there. Well, that doesn't always have to do with age and everything else. That has to do with maybe you whacked your head a few times. Maybe not super hard, but enough times, gently, that it actually caused an impact to a part of your brain. You gotta figure every single piece of our being is connected to this database upstairs.
Right.
And anything short circuits, a part of our body shuts down or dysfunctions.
Yeah.
Everything from nutrients to energy to health. Take care of your mind as much as you would take care of your fingers or your face or your body.
Yeah. It's interesting because I was part of a recent teaching that's relatively new on the 3 different brains that we have. So we have our mind, we have our heart, and our gut brains, and the neuropathics that they all have. And it's interesting because we do put a lot of emphasis on our mind, at least in learning, and it is important, and obviously intuition, which is what I teach about and big on. I mean, intuition from the mind is important, and we do put a lot of emphasis on it, but we are restricted in our thoughts because we believe that we can only do so much with our mind. And we all know that they say we only use like 5 to 8% of our brains. So, why aren't there more people trying to explore, developing our potential, other than through personal growth and spiritual dimensions?
That's a fantastic question. You know, that one there, it sounds like it could be like a half hour or a half a day discussion. What I've gathered from that, why aren't we, is because we value our lives. The average person, we value our lives upon the masses' opinions of what is possible. So people say this is impossible, such as going to the moon or telling Henry Ford that cars, you kidding, dude? Just get a faster horse.
Right.
And him not listening to that, look what we've created, and look at the whole world the dynamics in the world. Imagine if we took our lives on like that, what we could accomplish.
Right.
And even just what I've done, I take this as a platform as to what I'm going to do next and whom I can become by studying myself and studying what I've done and restudying myself regularly and even rereading my book as to how I can move up in different applications or different things, different strategies I can use in my own life to become a greater being.
Now there's a nice plug for your book. You even read it again.
Oh.
or is it because you've forgotten?
Did you just say that? Who are you again?
Yeah.
You know, I'll say, I'll always love you, but some days I just don't like you. and right now might be one of those moments. Are we done yet? No, there's going to be several different programs, even different events and seminars coming off that book because there's so much wisdom and so much knowledge in there that is something really worthwhile reading.
I can't wait to read it. And you're actually doing the book launch on June 14th.
Absolutely, yeah. We're doing the book launch there, and everybody that shows up is going to get a copy of the book. And just the way we can show our gratitude to you and really bring the energy modalities to you and more healing ways and just empower, because we're connected with Dr. Cusimano, which is he's the cat who came up with a way to do neurosurgery through the nasal cavities.
Oh, right.
And he's one of the leading neurosurgeons in the country. And what he does, he's amazing at what he does, and he's really got a driven passion to find out how we can reduce the head injury or how we can recover. And now I'm connected with him, and we're just going to bring both sides together.
Which is important to bring in the medical community, just because us in the spiritual community tend to say, meh, and push them away. But it is important to try and bring them together.
Yes. Well, you got to figure, until we get to the point where we can actually regrow a kidney when we've had a challenge with a kidney,
right,
we need the medical community there. With the holistic and energy world, that's where the healing comes from. Missing an arm, medical. Healing, energy. So we both have our parts in our games to play. We just need to balance it out a little bit more and make it function better and work together.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
And that is part of our mission here with ACT.
Nice.
Is showing people that you can go and have your trauma. You may have even physical different challenges because of your head injury, but let's show you the modalities that will help you heal and get wellness out of your being. So you become a greater person, and because of what you've been through, now you are, and when you've learned from it, you can be a leader because of that challenge, not just a victim the rest of your days.
Right.
Step up into the victor world, from survivor to thriver.
It's a challenge for a lot of people. We tend to like the victim world.
We do, because it gets attention.
Absolutely gets attention. It gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, well, just imagine if you stepped into the thriver world, the attention you will get. It resonates at a higher frequency, and it's even more powerful. Maybe a little bit less, but it's a lot more powerful and much more abundant when it comes.
Yeah, I can see that. We're just going to have to change the world, Daniel.
Tell you what, it all starts with a bicycle ride around the country.
It's one big bicycle ride.
Yes.
Very big.
A few thousand kilometers.
A few, just a few.
Yeah, several weeks. Yeah. Season and a half.
Right.
Some people go for 6 years at university and they would walk out and go, I ain't got a job yet. Well, I'm going to go for a cycle across the country and open the world up to possibility.
It's a great vision. I'm going to support it as much as I can.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Maybe we'll do a show when I'm on the road and you back here. I'd take a half hour one night or something.
We could do that. Absolutely, we could do that.
Yes. Have that following across Canada. Maybe in every province I go through, we can connect and create something like that. We'll connect with Justin, the creation director. I call him Dr. Creation, Justin McMakin.
Nice.
But we can connect with him. We can manage that happen. So I could be on the road inside the bus, and in the evening we can kick off a little show at each province.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Get a following.
That's right.
Oh, rock on. Let's make this happen.
We're going to make that happen. We are definitely going to make that happen.
Excellent.
You heard it here first. News for the heart. All right. So we got a couple more minutes. Is there anything that you want to inspire people to?
Just with the lessons that I learned through Robbins when he shared with me, and even connecting with him one-on-one, and I shared with earlier here in the show, it's with whatever happens, whatever you ever endure, experience, when you choose to find a way you can learn from it spiritually, mentally, and physically, you've won. It's something you can win by because you found the growth. And oftentimes, it may not come to you right away or even a day later, but if you're open to, and you keep those channels open that you want to find a way you can learn from it, a way you can win by it, you will find a way. Believe me, even if your house burnt down or death in the family, you will find a way that you can become more powerful because of that. And when you do that, every problem is just a challenge. And challenges are there to win by and grow by.
I like that. All right, you've been listening to News for the Heart. I will have Daniel back, and we may have his partner in crime and do a special show on
the creation director.
The creation director, Justin. All right, if you want more information about Daniel, I'll have a page up on my website, but go to potential.to or actnow.to and get his book. We'll also do another interview of that. So, All right, thank you, Daniel.
My pleasure. It's been I'm very grateful to be on the show with you today. Thank you.
Loved it.
Have a question for Laurie and want to be on the next News from the Heart show? Drop us a line via instant feedback at bmajor.org. News from the Heart is brought to you by Intuitive Soul and is produced by Major Radio for Clear Channel's iHeartRadio and bmajor.org.